This IP just screams nostalgia to me. Anytime I hear
Silent Scope
or that iconic Konami attract sound, I'm instantly taken back to a time when malls were the place to be. Silent Scope is one of those franchises that feels like it got lost to time. When people talk about light gun games, it's usually Time Crisis, House of the Dead, or classics like Terminator 2 and Lethal Enforcers. But somehow, Silent Scope rarely gets the same recognition. And honestly, that's a shame, because there still isn't anything quite like it. Much like Time Crisis 2, Silent Scope 2 was the first entry in the series that I played, because that's what my local arcade had. But before we go there, we gotta go back. The rules across all the games are simple. Eliminate the terrorists with precision, don't shoot nurses because they give you health, and complete the mission before time runs out. If you lose all your health or let the timer hit 0, it's game over, man. Silent Scope 1 hit arcades in 1999 and hit consoles over a year later in 2000. The story is pretty straightforward. You play as a military sniper named Falcon. The first family's been kidnapped by a terrorist organization, and it's your job to rescue them. And at the end of each mission, you have a boss to eliminate. There's 3 different starting positions for the first mission, so you have a 33 1/3% chance of guessing which one you'll get. But that's a sacrifice I'm not willing to make. And Tom and Jerry have fallen on hard times, because they're in the game too as mini bosses, so you gotta show them what's up. Silent Scope 2 came to arcades in 2000 and PS2 in 2001. Just like Time Crisis 2, this is the first in the series to have co-op. Falcon returns and is joined by a Spanish freelance sniper named Jackal. The story tries to make it seem like Jackal might turn on Falcon since he doesn't work for any particular country, but thankfully that never happens. During single player, you get your choice of character, and this does influence your viewpoint when sniping. It's something that happens throughout the entire game, but it's most notable during the first mission. And that first mission is iconic. It has players sniping enemies on and around Tower Bridge in London. And while it's not stated, it's safe to assume the game primarily takes place in Europe. Outside of that, Silent Scope 2 is essentially more the same. It's personally one of my favorites in the series because it's got a little bit of a darker tone overall. And it kind of reminds me of the espionage movies of that time. Think Jack Ryan, Ronin, and even GoldenEye. And the soundtrack helps push that point too. Silent Scope Extreme. Released in 2001, Silent Scope X reminds me a little Point Blank. Yeah, there's still longer point-to-point missions, but the early missions are quick, like can be done in under a minute quick. And you're saving the world from a piano-playing drag queen, but it's still Silent Scope at its core. Oh yeah, Mario's in the game too. Well, was. Silent Scope 3. Silent Scope 3 is the only console exclusive in the series, releasing on PS2 in 2002. Falcon makes a return as a freelance sniper, much like Jackal was in Silent Scope 2. Aside from that, it still gives players the option to choose what's next via a mission map. I don't have a ton else to say aside from that, because at its core, it's still Silent Scope. In 2004, Xbox got Silent Scope Complete. It's exactly as it sounds. All the games the PS2 had, but on one disc. And the graphics are noticeably better. And the best part, it's light gun compatible. Konami teamed with Pelican and made a bundle that came with a light rifle. It acted like the arcade counterpart did, but with a sensor by the scope, so when you look through it, the game will also scope in. It also doubled as a shotgun for House of the Dead 3. Bone Eater. In 2014, Bone Eater hit arcades and is the last Silent Scope game to ever be released. The cap itself is noticeably different, and a good bit of the rifle is chopped off. It reverted back to a single player experience in terms of story, but there is a score attack mode that supports up to 4 players. The art style is a massive change as well, with it being more of an anime style than what Silent Scope has used in the past. And that's where the series ends. Silent Scope has remained, well, silent ever since. But if Konami ever brought Silent Scope back, what do I want to see? They can go 2 ways with this. My first idea is that they remaster Silent Scope Complete, upscale the graphics, make the second game co-op via couch or online, give us leaderboards, achievement support, and an archive with concept art and arcade flyers. Put it on PC, Xbox, PS5, and Switch 2. And give the Switch 2 players an option to use mouse mode if there won't be a light gun for it. Or option 2, reboot the series as a third-person shooter. I know Konami had Metal Gear, but hear me out. Silent Scope's emphasis would still be on sniping, not stealth. There also want to be those supernatural elements and no giant-ass mechs like Metal Gear had either. For the reboot, I envision it taking place in the 90s with that darker, grittier tone we talked about with Silent Scope 2. Story-wise, I like to see Falcon versus Jackal and a sniper versus sniper subplot to whatever the main story ends up being. Keep the urban environments. This would separate the game from Sniper Elite and Sniper Ghost Warrior. Maybe even return to some locations we saw in the original trilogy, or create locations inspired by them. Later on, maybe bring in a co-op DLC that introduces a new character, and we see the return of Cobra or another villain from the previous games. Definitely keep the humor the games have, whether it's the bosses with afros, jazz music playing whenever your character sees a woman, or the names of mini bosses like Tom and Jerry. That humor just added charm to the games in my opinion. Of course, this will be on all current consoles and PC too. I don't see it happening, but your man can dream. Do you remember Silent Scope? Which game was your favorite? Let me know.